now, through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future, Transformers Slag Podcast.
What's up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night live stream main event. I'm your host, Proto Man. I am the face that runs this place. This big old crazy place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday, and it is Saturday night. We're going to be talking the robots in disguise, taking some super chats from the fans, and just chilling this Saturday night. How we all doing? It's quite a busy day for me today. It's summer, working in the yard, getting food, running around, groceries, a little bit of toy shopping, picked up some cool stuff, checked out the P.O. box. There was some stuff in the Transformers Slag Podcast P.O. box. So we got something cool in the mail. Give a shout out to some fans. And then some. But first, who do we have in the chat here today? We got Lizard Sphere X. We got Ashnud. We got James Hopkins. We got Mikey and Louie. We got Bigum. Bigum's back. We got Sharif. We got T-Formers 2002. Horned Owl. We got Talib. We got Fawnheart 2000. That's a new one that I haven't seen of the YouTube members. Brainstorm 2002. Thank you for the retweet, Brainstorm. I saw that before on Twitter, just before I went live. Patrick Brown. And more people are rolling in slowly. And Brainstorm also has a super chat. Hey, Proto, what's for dinner? Brainstorm, you already jumped the gun, but I did take a photo. Brainstorm. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know why. The significant other was really in the mood for burritos, so we made burritos today. Big old thick burritos. We were thinking of doing white people taco night, but we're going to go with burritos today. So good stuff. You know what? I probably should have taken a picture of the final product. Whatever. I ate it too quickly. Ate it way too quickly. I had like 3 of them. She only had 2 though. Big old burritos. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we ate. So what are we going to talk about today? We got quite a bit to cover. It's funny because last week right here, I mentioned how Smallfoot's images were already kicking around in the Chinese message boards, and we would be seeing them within the next couple of days. That's what I assumed, because usually when I see it on Weibo and when I see it on some of the other Chinese message boards, I'm like, it takes about 2 to 3 days before the Western message boards catch up to it and then post it on their websites. And what was it, like 2 hours after we went off the air? Bada bang, it just popped up. And we got our very first look at our Gobot's Smallfoot. And oh yeah, it looks great. I'm very happy with how it turned out primarily. And it's more of a shallow reason, but it's, my buddy Sakamoto, who worked on the Transformer Legends comics, this is more his coloring. So I really dig that they kind of went for some of kind of his coloring and his concept of how Smallfoot would work with, because there's the e-hobby version that it's all based from, and then there was some box art that I have no idea who did the box art for the e-hobby one. Maybe Hayabusa, maybe I don't know who else could have done it at the time that was working at Part 1. But I apologize whoever did it that I don't know. But they kind of based it off of Sakamoto's kind of coloring and concept that he did for Fun Publications during, I want to say 2014. He did that coloring. But looks really good. I love what they did here. I love the use of the pink. It just kind of just hits right. The yellow, again, that's a little bit of a Sakamoto flair there with the eyes. The brand new sculpted head, which I'm so happy about. I was so worried that they were just going to do like a straight up like Gears repaint. But like they were going to probably have, like I imagine on the tooling, and I know the next time they're going to do like a fan roundtable with like Mark and Evan and BMAC. I'm going to ask them. I'm going to be like, hey, like, that Gears one, how many different heads were on that tooling? And that you're at liberty to say. And because, I mean, there's clearly this one here that was planned from the get-go for the Smallfoot. There's probably going to be a toy-accurate one with a show-accurate one. So there's probably 3 heads on that tooling easily. So, and then they're going to milk it and get tons of, mileage out of it and retools that we're not even seeing. But I dig it. I dig it a lot. I have a extremely, extremely fondness for Machine Robo and GoBots. I had just as many GoBots growing up as I did Transformers, and bringing more of that, from the past. I mean, I'm just looking up at my wall, like I have like a whole bunch of like carded GoBots, and Smallfoot is one of them, and it's good stuff. I'm very excited about this. The listing that you see on the bottom of this image here is the original listing that we got from JT Prime 17. That is going to, clearly this is a Gen Selects item that will be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. And it will be a 3-pack. We already saw the treads. We talked about it last week. The Smallfoot we talked about this week. If you want to see a much more in detailed comparison with the original animation model and all that, go check out the original segment I dropped on everybody. And hopefully we'll see the Pathfinder. I will say this, guys, there is no Pathfinder images on the Chinese message boards yet. So don't expect anything 2 hours after we go off the air. Anything that does pop up would be a complete surprise by me. But right now, there's nothing kicking around in the background. So we'll see what happens with that one. I have no idea what they'll use for that Pathfinder. Smarter heads would say Cosmos with a retool. That's what we're going to assume. But you never know. You never know. You never know. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Let's talk about another revival. And it's that of Masterpiece that we thought, when we got, the Masterpiece Jinrai, and there was the mention that, Masterpiece is going to be ending and MPG is going to be what we're going to be doing moving forward. The general fear that a lot of people had was, well, MPG clearly is about combiners, and if we're only going to be focusing on, combiners going into Masterpiece in the future, there's a lot of empty loose ends. We didn't finish Beast Wars characters, we didn't finish this, we didn't finish that, the Autobot crew. Where will we go? Well, luckily, this kind of shows us a little bit that MPG could stand for a lot of things. It stands for Gatai, the G. It stands for Greto. It stands for giant. So it could be Titan classes. It could be great stuff, which I guess is this stuff here, which is just Masterpiece. It could be, it could be a lot of different things. What's up, Cringe? Um, so it's something where I'm glad to see that they're continuing it. I mean, that Ironhide mold's a little old that we see repainted here. Oh, by the way, everything here is translated. I translated all the Japanese from the original solicitations. If you're wondering why there's English on them, that was my slide from my segment a few days ago. But this is pretty cool though. So they took that old Ironhide, they gave it the Diaclone treatment, based off of the DK2 guard character that was created during Generation Selects. There's been Black Ironhides in the past. Just this is the one that's kind of based off of that character, which was based off of the Diaclone colors. And straight up repaint, even the accessories are 100% the same. So there's not really anything new surprising with that one. The lift ticket below it is an interesting amalgam of things. It's pretty much, the hoist with some using the weapons and everything from Rigorous, which was another repaint retool. And, you know, MPG, Mr. Paul Goober. Well, Goober is expensive, so maybe that might explain it. But Goober isn't Japanese. But he was in Japan not too long ago. It all makes sense now. It's all connected. But yeah, this lift ticket here. The accessories come from Rigorous, which was that yellow Diaclone from yellow Diaclone repaint from the Trailbreaker. But it also has a new accessory here, this little blast effect that, it could be the shoulder mounted force field effect for a Trailbreaker, but it's also shown here to be something that clicks on a weapon. It's pretty cool. It's probably the less exciting of the two, but if you are someone that really likes the Trailbreaker character, it's more accessories for your Trailbreaker. So if you picked up Rigorous to make your Trailbreaker more complete, you pick up this one too. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some people might be like, oh, why didn't they just include it with Trailbreaker? You know how the game is. Got to make those sales. It's cool. I don't know if it's going to be masterpiece price cool, but it's cool. I'm kind of concerned on the pricing though, because the Ironhide comes from quite a while back where masterpieces were much cheaper. So I'm really curious what they're going to price this repaint, considering it comes with all the same stuff. But we will see. We will see. It's still cool though, and what I take away from all of this is Masterpiece is continuing in its traditional format. It's just called MPG now. I don't know why, but I guess maybe they just want to kind of maybe Masterpiece was too generic, so they want to have MPG and have something that's a little more trademarked, I guess. Because I mean, I've seen Masterpiece used with a lot of things. I mean, Marvel masterpieces and all kinds of other stuff. So the term is too generic, and Hasbro wants to own stuff. Takara not so much so, but Hasbro wants to own a trademark, so maybe that's why MPG is being leaned on more, and it's just going to be a continuation of Masterpiece. You know, we will see. We will see. But also with these solicitations from Japan, we also got this one here that was quite a surprise. The dramatic capture series, which we saw, geez, I want to say the beginning of the year and November of last year when it was first teased to us. We got the Nemesis Bridge one, which came with the Optimus, the Shockwave and the Soundwave, and the chair. So it clearly, symbolizes, this is the bridge of the Nemesis. So now they want to do something that's the bridge of the Arc. So we have the Dramatic Capture Series O2 Arc Bridge, and how they pull that off is having Teletran 1 present. And how do we convince people to buy this set? Well, we give you a extremely, probably the best coloring that we've seen yet of the Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime. No trailer, of course, to keep the price down. It also comes with a Jazz that is kind of a fusion of here's the Studio Series with the clear plastic, but here's also some of the coloring that we did with the Autobot 5-pack. I know some people think it's a silly idea, but the thing is, this was made for the Japanese market, and the Japanese market, well, let's be real, they only had one other Jazz. They had the Studio Series. They didn't get all the 50 other Jazzes we did. They didn't get the Toxitron one. They didn't get the what do you call it? Oh my god, why am I blanking? What was the other one that they got? Oh my god, because I know that they got Knockout. What was the other Jazz repaint? Oh my god, there was another Jazz repaint. We had the Toxitron collection, the Hot Cheetos, and then we had another one too, because there was another one that we got that they didn't, which was someone's going to remind me in the chat. But either way, the point is this is the second time they're getting a Jazz repaint. So for them, it's new. For them, it's new. Us, it'll be like our fifth, but for them, it'll be something else. David Cabal, what's up, my man? How you doing? I wish they came with Hayato Sakamoto's comic. I miss those Legends comic. Jackpot. Thank you, T Formers 2002. That was the Golden Disc Collection one. Hayato-san Sakamoto still makes comics to this day. Um, and the cool thing is every once in a while they'll ask him to do an insert for something. I believe the last one he did officially was the Blue Bolts one with the convoy. The Blue Bolts meaning Blue Bolts, the blue Air Razor repaint, long before it was Blue Bolts, the HasLab item, which now we kind of how quickly forget that trademark. But yeah, so and the big one is Teletran that has the colors of Action Master Mainframe, you know? And that's pretty cool. Like we knew that repaint was going to come at some point, but what's surprising to me is the fact that Titan class, that this was on a separate tooling. That means that every time a Titan class arc is made, there's a completely separate tooling that is poured and made just for the Teletran. And they planned that far ahead to make sure that it's a separate tooling just for that. That way you don't waste the rest of the plastic and the mold and the product just to make these mainframes over here. So that's pretty cool. The only thing I question now, looking at this, is going like, so are we now accepting in continuity that Teletran all this time was mainframe? And when we got Action Master mainframe, because the Action Masters really, when you think about it, they really were only a comic book only like characters. Like they were only something that really existed in the Marvel books. And of course, like I guess the commercial shorts, if you want to, who will join me? Who will give up the power to transform, be faster, stronger, more alive? I will count me in, Um, but So this is something where it's like, I guess what before the arc was destroyed, spoiler on a 35-year-old comic book, but when the arc was destroyed in the Marvel comics, I guess they rescued some, memory banks, and then Mainframe was created from it, I guess. That's one way to look at it. I mean, it's, but then again, this is all kind of also representing the cartoon version more than anything by the visuals and stuff. So was Mainframe something that was always in Teletran? I mean, it asks more questions than there is answers. And much like David Cabal said, it's something a Sakamoto Transformers Legends comic book would fill in the gaps and make sense of everything. So either way, I think this is cool. I think this really hits a lot of places for a lot of people. If you didn't get the leader class Optimus, you get the best coloring ever possible in this set. If you didn't get the arc, you get one piece of it that's really awesome and now represents an Action Master character that hasn't gotten a new toy in near 30 years. And the Jazz, I mean, it's Jazz. I mean, if you got the Studio Series 1, it's kind of halfway there. It has probably going to have a few decos here and there. So we'll see. We will see. We will see how this goes down, but it's pretty cool. Pricing is probably going to be cheaper than the one that we got before, the Nemesis Bridge, because the Optimus is a leader without its parts, kind of like the Shockwave in a lot of ways. The Mainframe is at most a Voyager, and then you got a deluxe class where the last set was two Voyagers and a leader. So this will probably be a cheaper pack. We'll see what happens, but I like it. I like it. I'm excited about it. If anything, I'll pick it up just for the Mainframe. But the Optimus is a nice bonus too, and the Jazz, well, I have the 5-pack coming. So the Jazz might find its way to a future Transformer Slag podcast parts party at a TFCon Toronto, perhaps. We will see. We will see. Let's talk Transformer. Hold on, let's look and see some YouTube member stuff. So was Mainframe picked to become Teletran because his name was Mainframe? Well, that's just it. Like, what's the continuity with that? It's really like when we got the Arc toy, it was like, oh, that's cute. It has the detail and stuff, but we could kind of accept the Arc and Mainframe being there, part of that War for Cybertron Netflix continuity. Sure, whatever. But now we're having this with something that's really supposed to represent the dramatic capturing what's on the screen, aka the cartoon series of G184. And it's like, what is it trying to say here? Is there some retcon going on? You know, we'll see. We'll see. We got some Earthspark updates from Japan. This is well, what we're looking at here is potentially what is going to be wave 7 of our deluxes here in America. According to JT Prime 17, these two here are going to be wave 7, and then wave 8, which we'll talk about in the next slide afterwards, because there is some conflicting information there. But wave 7 is going to feature Aftermath here and Jawbreaker. This is the first time we are seeing these two molds as deluxes. The Aftermath looks quite interesting. Yet another, like I said in my individual segment, a badass tow truck. That's the third one this year of badass tow trucks we've gotten, and looking pretty good. Um, the Jawbreaker is quite an extensive upgrade from what we got with that Warrior class, but that doesn't surprise me too much. I mean, it's something where the Warrior classes, especially the ones that we get here in America, are pretty light on the paint, pretty light on the plastic. And I knew that when we were going to be getting a deluxe of Jawbreaker, whatever we were going to get would be a significant improvement. And I'm very happy with how he looks. I love how the coloring matches the animation model very well, where the dare I say the Jawbreaker that we got as a warrior class was so Unicronian in coloring. Like even the yellows were very like it's like something like would have been a molded in plastic Unicron color, where this one really is something that has that more almost coppery kind of look that he has in the show. So I think he looks great. I dig it. I love his tail weapon, his two weapons that he has on the side. He's going to be a nice beefy deluxe. So they came out well. And I love Aftermath because Aftermath, much like Jawbreaker, when you have characters that are not based on Generation 1 characters or pre-existing characters, you can kind of be a little more original with their designs, and you get to have that stylized look that exists in Earthspark kind of really flourish here. And Aftermath is a very good example of that, the way that it looks. It has like the little cow catchers for the front of the tow truck. Just the proportions of it in general are very unique to it. I dig it. I think it looks cool. I just really hope that the coloring here represents more or less the coloring of the Western version, because the next slide is going to definitely, tell us that more than anything. Is now JT Prime said Wave 8 of the Deluxes is going to feature Aftermath and Soundwave. What we see here instead is, assume not Aftermath and Soundwave, hashtag and Soundwave. I correct myself there. And we have hashtag here, so hopefully this is the deluxe we'll also be getting in the West, because we already know that we have the Combine and Ride Warrior class that this is a retool from. And when you go check out my individual segment talking about these guys, it's night and day. It's crazy. And the Elita 1 even more so. Now, I just want to show you guys something, okay? So all Earthspark product just goes for insane clearance now. I picked up Elita 1 for, like, look at that. First it went on clearance once, and then red tag clearance, $9 Canadian, which is like $6 American. I picked her up for $6, and I left her in the package because it was just like the Japanese are going to do something better, because I picked her up, and then I think like 2 days later we saw like the one step of her, and I was like, oh man, they're going to take this and they're gonna ace it. And man, did they ace it. Like, look at this thing. I'm just gonna sell the warrior class I have here today. Like this thing has a molded in, it has a molded in hand that's unpainted here. You're stuck with the gun. It can't be removed. So it has this weird kind of gimmick going on and all kinds of weird stuff. And this one, there is no silly like plugged in handgun flip over gimmick. Everything's painted, two brand new forearms sculpted, tons of paint applications, two new guns, an ability to store the guns on the roof of the vehicle. I mean, Japan's just killing it. They're just killing it. If you are a fan of Earthspark, don't even touch what Hasbro's putting out. I hate to say it. I don't want to sound like one of those guys, but it's absolutely insane how different it is from the retail product we're getting here. It's the exact same molds, but it's insane how much more paint goes into it. And it's something where if you want to have the best versions of those characters, you got to get the Japanese ones. And what's even more crazy when you think about it, I'm thinking even in the long run. Like if you're someone who, like, let's say 10 years from now, people really get into Earthspark for whatever reason, or they want to get the best versions of those characters, it's not going to be what's going to be kicking around in garage sales and toy boxes in the West and the secondary market loose. It's going to be the Japanese product. And it's the same way that I look at like Transformers Animated and how much, like, let's say Blackout goes for today, or Hydro Dive Bumblebee, or some of the other Japanese exclusive repaints and stuff like that. They go for crazy money. What's up, Aaron? They go for crazy money today because nothing has ever really topped it since then. And they were Japanese exclusive, limited market, not much of population in the secondary market. So we end up with that. And I think it's going to be the same thing here. People like 10 years from now will be like, man, I really want a really good Elita 1 from Earthspark. And they're going to have to go with a Japanese one. And how many of those are going to be out there? Sales aren't that great to begin with. So that means there's not much of a secondary market. So I'm just telling you guys, if you're a fan of this show, pick up the Japanese product now. You're going to be doing yourself a favor in the long run, because I think some of these guys are going to be worth crazy money in the future. It's just a call, just something I have a feeling on. But I love what I see. And you could pick these up right now. You go to Amazon.Japan, they ship to America, they ship to Canada. So it works out. Now, granted, that Elita 1 isn't going to be the $9 Canadian I paid, which would be $6 American. I believe on Amazon Japan, she's 3,600 yen, which in American is about $30. So $30 is a lot more than $6 that I paid here, American. But you are talking something that'll be probably the apex of that character in terms of how it's put out there. So we'll see. We will see. But man, oh man. And again, the Wave 8 officially is supposed to be hashtag and Soundwave. We have no images of the Soundwave yet. I'm hoping that it's a brand new tooling, but let's hope for the best. This line is on its way out. So we will see. We will see. Next up, something that's also fascinating from Japan. We got an update on our missing link stuff. So we got a nice little slide from Japan of what's happening with our missing link CO3 Bumble, aka Bumblebee, and CO4 Cliff, aka Cliff Jumper. They showed us how the boxes are going to look now. Kind of an evolution of that old Matt Watts kind of art that he did back in 1984. And excuse me, Mark Watts. Did I say Matt? Mark Watts. And sorry, Mark. And also showing where the die-cast parts are going to be on this one. So he's actually going to have a die-cast flap head where the original toy didn't even have that. It was more of like a chrome plastic. So looking real good. Looking really good. Again, I have that Cliff Jumper ready to come at me. Can't wait to pick that one up. Looks amazing. The Bumblebee, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to pick up later. There's going to be plenty of people buying Bumblebee, but that Cliff Jumper, I got to get that one. That just looks hot. That looks good. That looks really, really good. And then we got also the prime changers. We got this Transformers 1 product. So the first thing that we got here, of course, is this prime changers Bumblebee, which gives us a indication of probably how the other prime changers are going to be. Removable chests with something going on underneath, in this case, the transformation cog for Bumblebee, a removable knife hands, as I like to call it, and but again, this is the warrior-ish class. This is like the cheaper deluxe in mainline through Prime Changers, where it's a Bumblebee. There's going to be a studio series. We're going to see something like that, and then we could compare and contrast. What are you saying here, Aaron? They are really refreshing the classics. Yeah, it's good. It is good. I love. I guess you're referring to the missing links. Yeah, you know what? Like, how do you sell people those designs again? You know, how do you take that tooling? How do you take that look and how do you sell it to them again, you know? And it's something where like I feel that, you know, when you really think about it, you know, look when you started classics all those years ago in 2006, Aaron. Like you gave people Bumblebee and well more so Cliff Jumper and Bumblebee in one shape or form, and then you kind of revisit it every so often. Here it is as a Legends. Here it is. You know, we're going to do a deluxe Bumblebee. We'll do a red repaint and a Cliff Jumper. You know, how many times could you sell that character in that form and change it up? And that's one way to do it, you know. And sure, like classics in 2006 to today, it's been a while. It's crazy when you think about it, but it's been a while. It's almost 20 years. Almost 20 years. That's crazy. Uh but it's how you keep it fresh, you know. You got to keep it fresh because us old men, we're still here all those years later. A little less hair, a little more wrinkles, but we're still here. And yeah, Bumblebee. um, you can't see Aaron in the chat? What do you mean you can't see Aaron in the chat? I see Aaron in the chat. Unless you accidentally blocked him, could people see Aaron in the chat? That's weird. Aaron should be in the chat. He's always in the chat. Give me a yo if you could see Aaron in the chat. Maybe Mikey and Louie, maybe you accidentally muted someone. I do not know. I do not know. Doesn't show up for us. Ninja Tron. I was already shaving my head. He's been doing it before it was cool. They could see Aaron. Mikey and Louie, check. Maybe you accidentally muted him. That happens. Could you mute Aaron? I know he canceled Small Soldiers on you, but come on. Next up, we got Sentinel Prime. We only have the front of the box for this one. This is Prime Changer Sentinel Prime. Might also have a removable chest. We do not know yet, but that is something to be seen. Again, we only got the front of the box, so we have a zoomed in picture of the front of his robot mode, at least a chunk of it. And then the alt mode, we could only take guesses based off of this art that may or may not be done by Marcelo. Kind of looks like what Marcelo's been doing. So we will see. Oh, we got a super chat from Brainstorm 2002. Would a missing link Megatron be possible since it's a Japanese figure? Yes. I feel that the only way we would get a gun again is if it's a Japanese only product. Missing Link historically has been Japanese only. So it is the case. Now, here's the thing. Hasbro Pulse has been selling Missing Link product through their website. So I will say this, if we get Missing Link Megatron and he transforms into the gun, it will not be on Hasbro Pulse. It'll probably be something you have to buy, number one, through Big Bad Toy Store or any of the other guys. I'm not sponsored by any of them. I'm just saying, or TF Source or Chosen Prime, or I know I'm forgetting somebody, Captured Prey. Um, but it's something where, I see that it is a possibility. Maybe they'll package it in robot mode, but I mean, if this is any indication, not this, sorry, if this is any indication, they're going to want to stay true to the Japanese box, which Megatron was packed in gun mode. So it is pretty tough. The last time we had a gun Megatron officially from Transformers, there was a company that did a water gun of G1 Megatron. I forget the name of the company. It was Kodo something, not Kotobukiya. It was Kodo something. And they made a water gun spraying G1 Megatron only for the Japanese market. Only for the Japanese market. So I'm just joking about Aaron canceling Small Soldiers. Don't worry. But yeah, it's something where I could see it happening. I could 100% see it happening because Missing Link is a product made for the Japanese market. If America buys it, okay, that's a plus. It gets imported. Hey, that's great. That's more sales for us. But it really is a 40th anniversary Japanese market product, and they could get away with it over there. Completely different gun laws, completely different thing going on over there. Like the chances of you seeing a real handgun in Japan are next to null. The chances of you seeing a real handgun in the United States is in the next 15 minutes going to CVS. True story for me. As a Canadian, I walked into a CVS. I don't even remember why we were there, or something for Cook Sucks or whatever. I think he was getting some medication or whatever, one of my streaming buddies. And we were there. And then I saw a guy doing open carry. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So, what does Aaron say? Megatron gun, dead DOA forever. Well, no, again, Japanese market. Look, we had the Masterpiece, we had the Masterpiece 2.0, we had the water gun, Japanese market, but not America. Never going to happen in America. That Nerf gun that you guys did all those years ago, that's about as good as it's going to get, and even then I think we're pushing it at that point. I think Tank Megatron is just the future. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. But yeah, Sentinel Prime, kind of like someone said in the chat, and I said it in my individual segment, it looks a lot like the Bumblebee movie Tetrajet. It's hard to really base stuff off of art. Art is subjective. Art is flexible. Things could be changed, and especially if it's Marcelo who drew it. Marcelo sometimes draws things into it that might not represent the toy 100%. He does it more from a stylized perspective. So it's something where we'll see. And again, if Sentinel is as important as he is to the movie, probably we'll maybe get a Voyager class studio series. Again, look what they did with Rise of the Beast, all those studio series items. So we'll see what happens. But I dig his colors. Very animated Sentinel Prime with the blues and the oranges. Very Derek Wyatt inspired. I like it. You got a little Derek Wyatt's vision lives on through different things. Isn't that crazy when you really think about it? Having a blue Sentinel Prime. All it needs is a big chin and it needs to go spoon, and that's it. T-Formers 2002, that's why I ordered a United version of the Nerf Megatron. He's as close as G1 as you're going to get with that mold. Oh, yeah, totally. Like the first version of the Henkei was pretty close, and then the United one sealed the deal. And then we had a 2-pack. I believe it was for the 30th anniversary at the time of the 86 movie. We had a 2-pack that put him in red, which still looked kind of weird. That was probably the best we got for that here in the West, but still not close enough. Still not close enough. And speaking of movie stuff and movie news, we also had 2 pieces of information. Deadline, which has been pretty consistent with news and stuff about Hollywood, says Christopher Hemsworth is in talks to star of the Paramount Transformers G.I. Joe movie crossover. No word if that's supposed to be him as a robot or a human character. I'm gonna lean more on he's gonna be a human character That's pretty much they'll make him a Joe because at this point it's like if you looked at Rise of the Beast, I guess they just didn't have the star power there, and maybe they needed the star power to get people in the theaters. I don't know what it was, but if they do bring him, it'll be a step in the right direction because people aren't going to that movie for GI Joe. Look, I love GI Joe, but people are not going to be going to that movie to see GI Joe. They're going to see Transformers and Thor. That's what it is. I hate to say it, but that's the reality. Live action movie of Transformers with Thor, and Thor just so happens to be Duke. Or like I said in my segment, Skymate. It's not going to be Skymate, but you know, anyone who knows who Skymate is. But or General Hawk, yeah, Ninjatron, correct. I mean, he could be anybody. The point is that I feel he's going to be human character, and that's a step in the right direction because I've said this before. It doesn't matter what the franchise is. It doesn't matter what the script is. It doesn't matter what the story is. It doesn't matter how accurate it is to the source material. 99% of the movie going audience don't know these things, nor do they care. All they care is if they get intrigued by a choice of an actor or an idea. That's it. When the 2007 movie came out, it wasn't about the actors. It wasn't like they were going to see that movie for Shia LaBeouf or what's his name there, who was secretary, whatever, who was John Voight. Like I think John Voight was probably the most famous actor in that movie at that time. If you don't count, like I guess maybe Agent Smith from The Matrix with his 2 lines as Megatron. You know, it's something where people went to see that movie because of the idea. Oh, Transformers transforming on screen, live action. That sounds cool, and that's what filled the seats. Hardcore fans, we made up 5% of what went to see it. And 5% I'm being nice. So it's the same thing. This movie will find success based on the names. Now, the flip side of that, I just hope it's not going to cost a lot to have the names. That's the unfortunate thing. It could bring up the cost of the movie, and then that makes it a tough pill to swallow because you got to work twice as hard now with these movies to make money. But look, a lot of movies haven't been doing well, regardless of them being big brands and big IPs, part of big companies. And when you have a $4 million budget and the movie makes $4 million, ooh, that's not good. That is not good. That's a loss when you factor in afterwards all that third party spending, like advertising and at the end of the day, why this thing even exists, and that's to sell toys. Because what was one thing Rise of the Beasts didn't do more than anything? Yeah, it broke even, which isn't a good thing. Didn't sell toys, and that's the most important thing. Were the toys there? Of course they were. Did you guys buy the Studio Series ones because we're hardcore fans? Of course we did. But the rest of the world didn't, and that's a problem. And I'm not trying to throw shade at Rise of the Beast. I love that movie. But, there's my feelings and then there's the facts, and those are two very different things, and people really need to understand that, you know? But so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And again, a part of that, and that's the news at the bottom here from the Hollywood. What do you call it? What did I put here? The Hollywood Hollywood Bundle, something like that. Supposedly, Stephen Cable Jr. was asked a while back to not return to direct. He was planned to direct, but now he's not coming back. you know? And if he's not coming back, what does that say about how Rise of the Beast did? I guess they were like, "Ew, yeah, I think we're done. I think we'll move on to the next guy or whoever's going to do the next thing." So we've had Michael Bay with Steven Spielberg a little bit for the first one. We had Michael Bay full throttle on the next bunch. We had Travis Knight for Bumblebee. We have the guy from Toy Story 4 that's directing Transformers 1 here, and we have Stephen Cable Jr. So who's next after that? Who's next? We will see. Who is next? Aaron Archer. John Voight was the name for promotion for the film for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you really think about it, that secretary of whatever he was, that right hand man of the president job that he had in the movie. Like think about it, he was probably the most well known actress in the movie at the time. But how many people? Let's be honest, Aaron. How many people of that age demo back then knew who John Voight was outside of I don't know, Seinfeld sketch. This is John Voight's pencil. Like, I mean, really, how many people knew who John Voight was of my demographic? You know, like it's something where people went to see the movie because of the idea. Did they like it or not is a whole other story, but you got that ticket sale. And that's so important is that you got to trick them into the theaters. That's what I keep saying. That's not, like people are like, oh, Snake Eyes didn't do well because the story wasn't accurate to the original lore of G.I. Joe. Yeah, okay, I'm sure 99% of people who saw Marvel movies even know anything about Snake Eyes. They really don't. They know he's the ninja from G.I. Joe, and that's already like maybe 50% of the audience, and that's all they know. They just weren't interested. Ninjas from G.I. Joe, that's it. It had nothing to do with it. They didn't care. If it was a big name actor that somehow would have got people's attention, then they would have probably went to see it. That would have bumped it a little bit. That's why we get guys who like, fill roles where normally you wouldn't expect it. Look, getting Chris Hemsworth as Orion Pax Optimus Prime in Transformers 1 over Peter Cullen is exactly that. No shade on Peter Cullen. He's the Optimus, the best Optimus. But you're not going to use Peter Cullen's name to attract the mainstream audience. No one knows who he is. They don't. We know. They don't. They don't. And if you want this movie to be successful, you got to trick them into the audience. You got to. They already have a big hill to climb to begin with because it's an animated movie. That's already, I feel, something that's going to hurt it a little bit and make it difficult because we already see how Into the Spider-Verse, how their box office is compared to the live action stuff, and it's apples and oranges. So we will see. Mikey and Louie, we love Snake Eyes and watch the movie in theaters, but the story wasn't that great. See, but here's the thing, it wasn't that great. You don't know that until you see the movie. You gave the money, but if only more people were like you that gave the time to even give the money. Avatar is the best example of that. Not The Last Airbender, the blue people. Avatar is the best example of it. Word of mouth tricked people to go into theaters. Everyone saw Avatar once. No one saw Avatar twice, meaning that they got tricked in the theaters because of the hype. They saw it once, and that's all it took. All you need is every single person in Canada to see Avatar, and you break every box office record, let alone the United States. You have to understand there's such a little amount of the human population that actually goes to see movies in theaters. So when you get something like an Avatar, it's like you got to see it. It's an experience. Like people don't realize like this really dates it, but Gone with the Wind, one of the very first like big major box office movies, and to this day, still to this day, if you count inflation, is the number one selling movie of all time. Gone with the Wind was seen by 90% of, America in theaters. Almost every human being that lived in America during that time saw that movie in theaters because it was an event. It was a oh my god thing. And Star Wars was another example of that. If you factor in inflation, it was an event. When Star Wars came out, the very first movie, almost every warm-blooded human being in America saw that movie because of everything that was going on there. What are you saying, Aaron? I want the professional here. No one was all Hollywood talking to its no one it was all knowing it was all Hollywood talking to itself. Then Aaron said, remember, not one, but I'm sure the big robot concept would work. Well, again, robots is what always works. It always catches people's attention. But then again, we look at Chappie, that didn't really find its audience. What was the one with Hugh Jackman that was Rock'em Sock'em Robots? That one also didn't find its audience, unfortunately. And that had Hugh Jackman. It had Wolverine, it had giant robots, and still didn't find its audience. What was that one called? I forget what it was called. I liked it. I liked that movie. I thought it was pretty fun. I bought one of the action figures from it because it was on clearance at at Winners. Tom McNeil, Avatar was an experience. I hate 3D movies, but it was the only one that really got it right. Well, it was also, again, it was kind of that revival of 3D. It was an event. It was kind of like the birth of we'll call it like Neo 3D for the new audience from the old red and blue days. And then you saw so much of that afterwards. Mikey and Bluey, doesn't the sale of Blu-rays and streaming of Beasties movies help? No, it doesn't. But no one buys physical media anymore. That's the problem. Go into any Future Shop, Best Buy, whatever you want to call it, and go to the Blu-ray section, and let a single tear roll down the side of your face of what's left of that. Olden Tolbert with the $5 super chat. If Megatron makes clone armies of him, what names do you give him? Well, we already had a clone of that. That was Megaplex. That was the first clone of him, which had the blue accents, which was used kind of as a clone that then gained sentience and wanted to take over the Decepticons. And then we have mild fiction that comes from Machine Wars, that kind of Real Steel. Thank you. That was the name of that Hugh Jackman movie. Really good movie. I liked it, but no one went to see it and no one bought the toys. And, that's just how it is. But going back to what Eldon said, there was that one. There's the Gold Megatron, which was, I believe, a video game exclusive character. And then there's Megatron X, which is like an evil clone gone wrong with Nucleon. So there's a few already. There's a few clones already that exist. And then there's the fusion of Megatron and Convoy, which made Gilthor, I guess you could call him. So there's a few already that exist. So there's a few off the bat that you could name. Ninjatron, I want to touch on that. So Megatron, Mega 2, Mega 3. So Megatron. So here's the naming convention with Megatron. Okay, this will blow your mind. So in physics, you have Mega, Giga. Well, you have Beta, Mega, and Giga. Okay, so we had a Megatron, we had a Gigatron, and Betatron is also a character in Transformers. So the naming convention with Megatron would be that, using that physics arc. So Megatron, Gigatron, which we saw in Car Robots, and I believe was used as a trademark for Overlord, excuse me, with Bakon. But yeah, that's it more or less for the news. We'll cover some stuff we got in the P.O. box, some stuff I picked up today. But first, let's do some of my beautiful sponsors because they keep the lights on in this place. Let's talk about Symbiote Studios. Today I'm rocking the Catnip Bravo shirt. I don't know what I'm going to be wearing at San Diego. I have to figure out what shirts I'm going to be wearing there at the booth. Symbiote Studios plush pins and t-shirts. Got our beautiful collection here of product. Go check them out at symbiotestudios.com. Got my boy Hot Rod. It was funny. Literally today, I turned over and he was missing. And I was like, where did he go? And I was like looking all over and he fell behind. I was like, what the? Had a little bit of a Chucky kind of thing going on. Like, did he become sentient and move around? But yeah, check them out. The new Hot Rod is out. The new Ultra Magnus. We got the Rumble and Frenzy 2-pack that's available. All the cool stuff. Pick up, of course, the Slag exclusive plush too. That's there too. Rock them out over there. Get yourself a little Catnip Bravo to ride on top. All of those are great, and of course, all the others that are available, go check them out. We have the San Diego Comic-Con one that's going to be, we're going to be announcing that one soon for the very first time. You will hear the news first here on the Transformers Slag podcast, the SDCC exclusive 2024 Symbiote Studios Hasbro plush. Who will it be? What will it be? You will see. And then you could come to San Diego Comic-Con and I will be there at the booth to sell it to you. Hopefully most of the time, because I also have to go to the Hasbro booth at some point also and do some business there also. But I will be there. Check it out. And we'll have the announcement of the 2024 plush very soon. It's a really cool one. And yeah, there's also other ones coming in the second half of 2024. So stay tuned for that. A lot of cool ideas, a lot of cool product. And Symbiote Studios does it all, even all the other Hasbro ones. So go check them out on their website, GI Joe. You got to get that Snake Eyes. I love that Snake Eyes one. I've had that Snake Eyes one since day one. Maybe because it just comes with timber. That's why I love it. But I love that Snake Eyes plush. It's so cool. Power Rangers, the My Little Pony stuff. A lot of good stuff going on there. Check it out, yo. T-Formers 2002. Be honest, though, Proto. I'm always honest with you guys. I don't care. I'm always honest. If Hot Rod came alive like Toy Story, would it be a dream come true for you? You two would talk for hours. Yeah, Hot Rod. But which one would it be? I would like it if it would be like one of the larger ones, like the Masterpiece. I know you say like Toy Story, but if you remember, there was an old movie called Indian in the Cupboard. I don't know if you remember that one, where the kid would put a toy in the cupboard and he would close it and then he'd open it and the toy would be alive. And he put like Darth Vader in there. And then Darth Vader, like I think he put in his Kenner Darth Vader figure. and it came alive. Like I imagine something more like that. I could put like the masterpiece one, like the larger MP09, and hopefully his arms and legs don't break apart. That'd be cool. Have a nice 12-inch Rodimus hanging around my room. Get a 12-inch hot rod. Mm. A 12-inch Rodimus, chilling in the room. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Probably making hell for everybody. I don't know. That's a good question. What toy would be cool to have like come to life? I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know. Maybe something that has like super powerful, stuff. Something that could cosmic being. You get like Silver Surfer. You could do my bidding. Put Silver Surfer. Hey, Silver Surfer, could you just like go to the bank, use your power cosmic, and get me some coinage? um, David Cabal, thank you for helping me with the history of Marvel cards. Hey, David, no problem. For people are wondering, I was helping David learn the history of Marvel trading cards on Twitter. I'm so tempted, guys. Oh my God. I am so tempted to start a separate channel just to talk about trading cards. Like people it's some of the stuff that I got today even. People don't understand like I'm a big trading card guy. Like and I mean like Japanese stuff. Like these are Korean Famicom trading cards. They're very tiny. What game is on there? Geez, what game is that? Is that Road Rash? Yeah. But let me see what else is in here. It's like these are like Korean ones. See, look at all these. That's what is that? That's Devil World, which is an obscure Famicom game. You got Star Soldier, whole bunch. I am big into trading cards. I'm not a boomer, but I'm a millennial that's stuck in that era of the trading card world, and I love collecting trading cards. And I want to just open up a whole channel just talking about all the weird card sets. And no one's going to watch it, but I don't care because I just want to put it out there because no one talks about it. Like I would love to that's why I said one day, guys, I'm going to get a cool setup with a camera that aims down. And I'm just going to be like, we're going to talk about the history of Savage Dragon and his trading card set, or Marvel stuff. I don't know. Just something that's always been on my mind. I don't know if you guys would want to watch it. Some people, it's past their era, you know. But yeah, something that's always on my mind. Something that's always on my mind. It's something it would be so easy to do. Like I even have like the name in my head. I don't want to like spoil it because someone might go and register it before me. But it's something where it's like, it would just be chilling. It would be like we'd open up one of my binders and we'd go through a set and and I talk about the history of it. Like, oh, this set was the first time like holograms were used, or this set has the rookie cards of these characters, or it's something that it would be super easy to record, super easy to edit because it would just be like chilling, and it'd be something that no one is doing. No one is doing at all. See, Roman, that's why I want to talk about the Impel stuff. I want to talk about Skybox, Flare, Fleer. I want to talk about comic stories. Like I want to talk about I mean, I literally have here today because I was just so here's the Transformer garbage pail kids ones. Like here's like see, like Hot Rod, but it's called Heartthrob Rod, And you got Goober like this one, RC Cola, you know. And what's cool about Garbage Pail Kids cards, like because on the back of them you could build a on a on a 9-page pocket you could build a picture because you got like obviously Unicron. So I was messing with those, and then oh no, they're upstairs. I don't have all of them here. These are the wacky packs. These are from 1984. If anyone remembers these are like parody stuff. I've lost half the audience right now just talking about these. Most people weren't even born when those things existed. But yeah, so it's something like a side project, just something one day I'm gonna do when I have more time. You have to understand, so many times I look at YouTube and I go, man, no one has done a definitive video on Street Sharks. No one has done a definitive video about Botsmaster. No one has done a definitive video on King Arthur Knights of Justice. And I have all of those things and I want to talk about them. You know, we will see. We will see. We will see. That's something that's brewing in the background. I have so many things I'm working on right now already. I just don't have the time. I would love to do it though. There was a Marvel Transformer collectible card. Yes, there was. I have them up there. I'm not going to go get them now. But yeah, there was the old Marvel ones. I have a few carded ones there too. Fun fact: Bob Budiansky, our guy who created everything of Transformers. He was the guy behind a lot of those MPEL trading cards, because it's a long story. I'm going to save that for one day. One day, guys, you're going to get all of that. Um, but yeah, so some stuff that I did get in the mail, actually trading. So I have a buddy in Korea. He once in a while he sends me wacky stuff. So he sent me two Korean trading cards. This is of Brave X Kaiser. So we got a little bit of Transformer love there. But what's cool about this card is on the flip side of it, it has Ronin Warriors, aka was it Samurai Troopers? That's Ryo or Rio, however you want to pronounce his name, on the same card. And I love this one. So this is a trading card of Wataru, which is an obscure anime here in America, but in Japan. But you want to know why this Korean card is awesome? Because what's on the other side of it? I am a real Hulk Hogan with the old WWF logo. That's a Korean Hulk Hogan trading card from 1990. So that's really wacky. I love that. Bought it for that. Good old racist Hulk Hogan. I just dig it. I think it's cool. So I got those two from him. Those are really cool that he sent me. And then what he sent me, these are really tiny. I probably should put it on the card just to show you because they're so tiny. He sent me these little Kinkishis of Gundam. This is the white base ship from Gundam 0079 from 1979. That's really cool. Look at that one there. And then they're really small. This one's going to probably fall. And then you got the RX-78. I would do it like this that way. Really cool. Really, really cool. Brother, let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something, brother. Brother. Uh, New Transformer trading cards. Yeah, those new ones. Oh my God, trust. Look, go on the podcast. I talked about the trading cards. I'm excited about them. I'm buying a case of that, 100%. Me and my buddy Hydro, we're these two guys over 40 that are like obsessed with trading cards still. Literally above you guys, I have like huge just binders. Like I have like five like this. Only Transformer trading cards. Only Transformer trading cards. Like a little bit of Aaron Archer in here. There's everything in this. I have five like this. Five of them. Huge. You know, above me. Just Transformer trading cards because Japan had stuff, Korea had stuff, America had stuff. Absolutely insane. Insane. I don't know why. It's because I love collecting and trading cards. What I like about them is they don't take a lot of space. Like that one binder is probably 30 years of Transformer trading cards fit all in one binder. So, that's what I always love about it. But yeah, so I got those two things in the mail. Those were cool two things that I got. And then I want to give a shout out to a patron. Got to be careful. I don't want to show the box on the stream because it has his address. Probably should have ripped it off of there. We got a package in the mail in the PO box from a patron, Lightspeed. He even hand wrote a letter. I always love it when they handwrite letters. And I'm gonna assume Lightspeed, you're cool with me reading it because it's nothing too like super personal. He wrote, "Dear Proto, hope you're doing well. Included a gift that you'll recognize, and if you already own it, I know it'll go to a charitable cause. Thanks for all that you do, including your sage. What do you write here? Oh, sage advice and sage and financial advice. Sincerely, I'm not going to say his real name, aka Lightspeed." So I got a cool package from Lightspeed. I already have it. I guess we were talking about Dead Brawn and Dead Ratchet. I already have it, but it will go to the TFCon charity auction. It'll be donated, so it'll go to a good cause, and it'll go to Sick Kid Foundation and Make a Wish. So someone's definitely going to buy this for $20. By the time TFCon rolls around next month, this will probably be in demand. And then people will want it. Someone will probably buy it for $20. And then, yeah, that's $20 toward a kid meeting John Cena, or whatever their make a wish is. So it'll go to a good cause. But thank you, anyways. Thank you for the gift. It's always appreciated. And anytime it's something that I already have, it goes to the TFCon charity auction. I mean, last year's TFCon charity auction, my goodness, how many things did I give? Good Lord. Because I know Michael Koo gave like a huge box from Big Bad Toy Store stuff to donate. It was a lot of stuff from, oh my goodness, yeah, there was a lot of stuff. But anyways, uh, yeah, see, Mike and Louie sent me one. Yeah. Where are we at here? I had so many Star Wars card sets. Some of those are worth money today, those ones. Proto, make that channel. I think it would do well. I think it would do well with guys over 35 only because no one talks about them. And not only does no one talk about them, but I don't want to sound arrogant, but I know how I would do it. Like the way I'm going to do it is super historical. You know how I do my stuff. I'm going to talk about the history. I'm going to talk about like how this is. And what's cool about it is a lot of those trading cards, the creators of them, I have access to. You know, Bob Budiansky, I have access to. A lot of these guys that worked on these trading cards, I could ask them questions and get the history of them. So it would be fun. It would be fun. Again, it's something I wouldn't even be doing it for the views. I almost feel like I'd be doing it for myself. Like I just want to put it out there, you know? Proto, when are we going to be getting the true GoBot? Crasher is so lonely. Well, I'd hate to say it, but never. Until Bandai of America, which doesn't even exist anymore, but if Bandai of America licenses out the machine robo designs to Hasbro, which they'll never do because it's just so much easier to do this. Why would Hasbro pay Bandai to use the machine robo design when they could just go, oh, it's Mirage. What are you talking about? We're not homaging your Hanna-Barbera, Tonka character. No, this is Mirage in a unique color scheme. It's just a pure coincidence. And we own the rights to that trademark, so you can't say anything about it, you know? It's a Decepticon Crasher. What are you talking about? You know? So I don't see Hasbro paying anybody. It's the last thing they're gonna do is pay a license to make GoBot stuff. Let's be real. They would pay licenses for movies, actors, this. They ain't paying licenses for GoBot stuff. It's not going to happen. If you want GoBot stuff, go get Action Toys. They do fantastic stuff. It's the masterpiece stuff of GoBots or classics in my opinion. David Cabal, it might be helpful for young people because they're into Pokemon cards. Well, the one thing I do want to give advice for people is how to store them. One of the biggest mistakes, I could use this because this isn't for trading cards, but one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they use ring binders. So this is a D-ring. So see, when you close it, it doesn't damage what's in there. But a lot of people, they have ring binders where the rings turn onto the items and then it damages the cards. I talk about what albums to use. Here's a fun fact. Do you know that some of the 9-pocket trading cards that you use today, a lot of them are actually banned in the current market today because they found that they cause cancer? It's true. A lot of the 9-pockets that if you go to, what's it called? BLC, whatever, they're a trading card provider for materials. They found that some of the old pages that used to be used back in the day, they have a vinyl in them that actually causes cancer. It's pretty wild. So, I talk about that. So if you see those old plastics, get rid of them. I'll even put the product code. There's a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird stuff in the trading card world that people don't talk about. It's not all Pokemon and Magic the Gathering and TCGs. There's a lot of other stuff going on there. Um, so can't do a recolors like Crasher into the others. Well, see, it's you have to like Hasbro always has to skate that thin line of how do we use someone else's license without saying blatantly that we're using someone else's license, be it car or character, you know? So it's a tough one. T-Formers 2002, I'm under 30 and I'd love to learn some history and hear about what you've got to say. Thank you, T-Formers. Well, again, it's so people don't understand how important trading cards were, especially the Marvel trading cards, because you could buy a pack of trading cards of Marvel. Let's say the year is 1991. You buy a pack of Marvel Series 2 trading cards. It comes with 15 cards in that pack. And those 15 cards would teach you about those 15 characters that the only other way you would know is to read a comic book. But comic books, you'll be lucky if you get one comic book a month as a kid because comic books are expensive back then. They might, they're the equivalent of like $5 today, but a pack of cards would be like, $1.50. So I learned so much about Marvel and DC through trading cards before I was ever able to read comic books later. A lot of that, a lot of stuff. The first time I learned, what's a good example? The first time I learned about Infinity Gauntlet, like being associated with Thanos and its history was the trading card, even though the first comic I had was Infinity Gauntlet #3. I didn't know what was going on. Trading cards fill in the gap. I think the first time I ever knew that who Wolverine was from a trading card, long before reading a comic book. Probably, yeah, probably the trading card came first, now that I think about it. It's pretty wild. Where can we purchase the Transformer trading cards? They are not available for purchase right now. My friend Julian, which I don't know if he's in the chat or not, he always gets the latest issue of Preview magazine, and he told me that when that does hit, he's going to let me know because they will show up in Preview magazine because Preview magazine always has the trading card pre-order stuff. So if you go to your local comic store and stuff, ask them if they have Preview magazine. It's what they use to order stuff for their stores. Trading cards, action figures, comic books, all that. Books, t-shirts, paraphernalia. It's how a comic store pretty much loads up their inventory. Tom McNeil, I wish I had my DC trading cards. I didn't have them in plastics, just a small box for trading. Did you have the gray border series 1 or the blue border series 2? I'm curious. Because the gray border series 1 had some really important cards in there. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any other super chats or questions. Did I show everything else? Yeah, that was it more or less. I didn't get much else this week. I did a little bit of toy hunting. Unfortunately, there really wasn't anything out there. Saw a guy that was yeah, BCW. Thank you. I saw a guy out there that was selling a G1 blur, and Jesus, he was asking way too much money for a G1 blur that was completely naked. $50 Canadian, which is about 41 American. Didn't have its shield, didn't have its gun. I didn't even bother to check if it was the Target Master version. Not that I was going to, but probably was just the regular one. You had the gray ones. Yeah, the gray ones were the more common ones. I like because they made some of them made a panoramic if you combine 3 of them together. I have all of that upstairs. All of that upstairs in binders. I would love to show you guys all of that. Like I have so much, so much, and they don't take a lot of space. That's what I have. Like, it's no joke. Like something that's like you could fit every trading card set ever made, probably like in like this section here. You know, that at least that I have. So you never know. There's some stuff that's worth money in those. You never know. You never know. Once in a while, there's like one card that slips through the cracks. That's like like I use the term a true rookie card, and you never know what you might find. Uh, trying to catch all the questions here. I'm sorry. David Cole, hey guys, apologize. I'll be out for the evening, but love you all. Best Transformer community. Thank you, David. Thank you, David. Thank you for showing up, my friend. How much time we got left? Oh, we still got time. We're good. We're good. We're good. JR Mina, what's up from the Philippines? We had knockoffs of the Impel, X-Men Series 1, 2, and Marvel. My exposure to Marvel and X-Men universe, as I didn't have access to the comics in the province. I know exactly what you're talking about, JR Mina. Um, they were stickers, weren't they? They were like sticker kind of bootlegs of the Impel trading cards of the Jim Lee ones. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've seen some of those in vending machines back in the 90s. But yeah, I need to go digging into the storage locker and see if I have some of them tucked away in a box. Hey, you never know what you might have, my friend. If you ever want me to like let you know if you have something good, just send me a private message. I have quite the extensive knowledge on that stuff because you might have like, certain chase cards or promo cards, and some of those still go for decent money today. You'd be surprised how specific masterpiece cards they still go for great money today. I was seeing there were some masterpiece cards now that like they go for like $30. And all it takes is like a character to debut in a movie or something to create interest. X-Men 97, Sunspot, all of a sudden became a character that people learned about, even though he's been around for like 35 years. And now people want his action figure. Now they want his trading card. Now they want his first appearance in New Mutants trade paperback. Mikey Louie, do you think one day we would get a G1 continuation similar to X-Men 97? They seem to want to bring back and continue everything from the past lately, and Headmasters doesn't count. Anything is possible. I could see them doing that more so if they have nowhere else to go. Part of the reason why I think X-Men 97 existed was, and there's rumors, it's just rumors. I don't want to spoil too much, but people are saying there might be a connection to that with the Deadpool movie. That's all I'm going to say for now. So I think that the reason why that exists has other reasons. Tom Laney, hindsight is 2020. So many toys that I wish I kept a hold of. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, the biggest one that kills me, still to this day, still to this day, and people are going to think this is a fake story, but it's a true story. I had an uncle that worked for, shout out to my uncle Jaime. I had an uncle that worked for a toy distribution company here in Montreal, because Laval is where Hasbro's Canadian office is. And they were the toy distribution guys for Toy Biz. And for whatever reason, it was Toy Biz, Body L, which later on would go with Hot Wheels, which also would be with Hasbro and Kenner. And what was the other company? It was like a company that would do like tabletop hockey. And they would get all of the samples all the time. And my uncle would bring me the samples because, they'd have the samples and then they would usually get thrown out or given away. I had the sample of the Batman 89 Batcave and we sold it. And I know it's the sample because I remember it having black platforms and a different piece where the bar went. And I have very vivid memories of that being, and then years later, seeing one at a convention with blue platforms and going, wait a minute, that's different than the one I grew up with. And then going online and seeing, oh my God, I had the sample. I don't know how many of those samples existed, but we sold it at a garage sale. That's the biggest regret ever. I know. Kills me. Kills me. Kills me. Toy Biz Batman 89 Batcave. Granted, it was in terrible shape, didn't have the cardboard on the back, a lot of pieces. You know what's funny? I actually have a piece probably of that sample. One of the platforms probably still exists somewhere in my parts piece, so I could show that I still have it and it still exists to show that I'm not crazy. But man, lost that thing. That sucks. I have one of the chairs still too. When we sold it, like my mom didn't know that it was complete or not because it had all those pieces and everything. There's a theory that X-Men 97 is tied to the mutants in the MCU. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So I think it exists for another reason. JR Mina, hey Proto, I have the Transformers 9 card binder from Ultra Pro that stores the War for Cybertron trilogy card and stickers. Is Ultra Pro good brand for storing cards? Ultra Pro is the best brand for storing cards. I again, I'm gonna in my segment when I do that channel, I'm gonna show people what I use. Anything that is a trading card that has two sides, right? Meaning I want to be able to see both sides. I use Ultra Pro collector albums. Those are my go-to. They're acid-free. You don't run the risk of it getting a binder ding because they're not pages. It's an album that has prefixed pages in it. I use those ones. Those are also the ones that don't cause cancer. That's a whole other conversation. There's a whole other album company called Enor, Enor. They used to put out sports card binders back in the day. I would have to go in the other room and grab a few. I keep them as examples to show this is what you don't buy. They found out that their vinyl pages cause cancer. Don't touch them. But I use Ultra Pro collector albums for stuff where I don't have to see the back of the card because it's a TCG. I use Dex binders. Dex is, in my opinion, the Rolls Royce of binders. I wish Dex would do binders for double-sided stuff, but they don't. But Dex binders are the best binders you ever own. They're like $20 each for these binders, and they have pages in them, but my God, they're just the best. The best. Would a Chase Transformer figure a la Funko Pop or McFarlane be a good idea for Hasbro? Well, they kind of did that in the past a little bit. They would always do stuff where it was like, they tried to do the blind bag thing a little bit with the little chase head. I don't, what were those called? Did they even have a name? But they had like little blind box stuff that they were doing with Walmart at one point. The problem with doing chase stuff is, for a lack of better words, there's always going to be no happy feels. You're going to have the guys who are going to scalp them, and then people are going to be angry. So if you already have a difficulty picking up Transformer product that it doesn't have like a 1 out of 4 cases chase version, people already complain, "Oh, I can't find everything. Everything gets bought up." Imagine how you would feel now if there's a financial incentive to find a gold beachcomber that's in a case of 5 that'll have only 1 gold beachcomber. It's just going to make complaining and bad feels. So I don't see Hasbro going that route. Funko Pop does it because Funko Pop knows that their audience are 50% investors, 50% collectors, which is leaning so hard onto the Beanie Baby world, it hurts. And we all know how that ended up. But and McFarlane Toys, yeah, they do that, but that's McFarlane. I don't think I don't think it's a wise thing to do, personally. I think it would just, look what happened with Cosmos. We already have 1 per case chase figures, and it's not really chase, it's just they're 1 per case, and it's just how it is. And look how much people get angry with that stuff, you know? Um, where are we at? But thank you for the super chat, Paul. That's a good one. That's a good one. Tom McNeil, I made a mistake of selling off all my He-Man figures when I was my early teens at a yard sale. The only toys I ever sold off as a kid was that one, again, that one garage sale. I want to say it was 1992, where that Batcave went away. Some Hot Wheels toys, my Michael Knight, Ertl Knight Rider. I still have the figure, but the Michael Knight Knight Rider got sold. My Michael Knight big push car, some Lego stuff, but I wasn't a big Lego kid, so that stuff going away didn't kill me too much. This and that, but a lot of stuff still survived. My Transformers, I got most of my Transformers. Blaster survived. My beat up G1 Optimus Prime trailer survived, but all the Micromasters I got after the fact from birthdays and trading with friends. I'll trade you this Superpowers figure for 3 Micromasters, stuff like that. Superpower PVC Batman figure. Give me all 4 of your Micromasters. True story. Not mine, but a kid named Benji that I knew growing up. Mike and Louie, speaking of Knight Rider, are we still getting that crossover? That's the rumor. The JT Prime 17 listing says so. David, you're still here. David is collecting Marvel cards right now and staying within the 90s era. Well, most of it is the 90s. The Marvel cards debuted in 1990 and they kind of ran out of steam by 1997. So you're in luck. They didn't really start doing cards again until 2015, 2014 when they came back with Masterpiece. So you're lucky in that sense. Trading card era died in the 2000s. It was mostly TCGs at that point. If you were collecting cards, it was all TCGs, really. This and that. Tom McNeil, I'm surprised it's taken this long to get a Knight Rider collab. I think they were just kind of waiting for the right opportunity. Sometimes you want to do a collab if there's like a property to go with it. Look at like the Top Gun one. They did the Top Gun one, and then you got the Top Gun movie. So stuff like that, or Ghostbusters with the Ghostbuster movies. Clark Clint Gaming, Proto, what do you think is the best Transformers gimmick? Headmasters, Target Master, Power Masters, etc. Um, that's a good one. That's a good question. That's a really good question. Best gimmick. One that I like, and I'm not saying it's the best, but I always thought was kind of fun. I love the gravity bots, which I believe came out during Revenge of the Fallen, where it was just kind of you put them one way and then you put them another way and they would transform. I thought those were cool. Those were movie toys, but I wouldn't say that's the best, but I always appreciated those from an engineering standpoint. Um, I loved headmasters. I mean, the very first headmaster I ever got was Hosehead, and I always thought they were the coolest thing because you got like a little robot and it could go in the cockpit. I always thought that was really cool. Um, Target Masters, it's like the headmaster gimmick, but it makes an accessory, and cockpit didn't open up, so that wasn't as fun. What else did you mention? Power Masters, same thing. You know, the engine attaches and makes a robot, but not really much else outside of that. The headmasters I like because when you had the larger ones, they had articulated arms and legs, so they really were like little action figures. I wish I had some of my extras here I could show you guys, but and you could just barely see Skull Cruncher over there and the Transformer 2010 logo because that's all season 3 stuff there in season 4. Um, that's a tough one. I mean, I don't want to say it just because Aaron's here, but the minicon gimmick is cool, you know, because it unlocks something on the figure, but it's also its own little micromaster in a sense. It's a minicon, but you know, it's a micromaster that has an unlocking gimmick. That's always been kind of cool. What was another really good one? What was another really good one that's really awesome? Trying to think of another really good gimmick, you know, because you always need that hook that kind of like attracts you to a line. You know, auto transforming when done right, flip changers when done right are always cool. You know, I've always liked like all those Machine Wars molds. They're awesome. The Formula One, which could be Prowl, Mirage, Indy Hito, Skid Z, whatever they want to repaint it into. Ligier from Robot Masters. You know, like I think that's a great mold. The Jets too. You know, Cyber Planet keys, like the Cybertron figures, are just pretty much it's the minicon gimmick without the minicon. So, I mean, I prefer more the minicon gimmick, the Cyber Planet keys. The figures are, I mean, Cybertron figures are amazing, but the gimmick is, I mean, it's just being replaced by something that's less than a minicon, cheaper to manufacture, of course. Um, I wouldn't call Kissplay a gimmick. I would just call Kissplay something I absolutely love. That's the complete line of Kissplay in every shape or form. Oh yeah. I always look up like Kissplay. Oh yeah, beautiful. Um, Kissplay is a way of life, not just a gimmick. T-Formers 2002. Did you see the news about MP Cliff possibly getting redone, or the original prototype is gone to the ages without any news by Takara? I think that now that we know now with this MPG line, I think we're going to see Cliff Jumper there. That's what I think. That's where we're going. We'll see. I think that there's a lot more to come. That MPG reveal that we got tells me a lot about comforting, you know, that the future is still there, you know. Combiners, I guess, yeah, you could count that as a gimmick, you know. Combiners are always fun. You know, that's always a good go-to. You know, you could talk about like trying to see like some really cool stuff though, like really unique stuff. Because there was a lot of innovation that happened during like, you know, movie 2007 going into like Dark of the Moon, that little bubble, 2007 to 2011. There's a lot of cool ideas that came out of that. Mecha Live and Gravity Bots and trying to see some other stuff, Cyber Stompers and you know, flip changers, which have been around for a while, but they kind of evolved in different ways as one steps as we call them today. What else? What else? I'm just looking, you know, crash combiners and all kinds of wacky things, all kinds of wacky stuff. Of course, how could I forget Pretenders? I love Pretenders. I love Pretenders because they're so goofy. I think that's why I love Pretenders. They're so weird. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna have a big old weird human-shaped spacesuit guy, and there's a robot that's smaller that's inside it. But in the fiction, it's the other way around. You know, it's the human is the small thing and the robot is giant. You know, it's like there's so many great stuff there. Triple changers, that's true. That's an engineering the only thing with triple changers is I've always felt that there's always one mode out of the three that suffers. And that's why I've always felt Astro Train was probably the best triple changer. And he's not even my favorite triple changer, but I've always felt he was the only one that really pulled it off. You look at Springer, great robot mode, and then you go helicopter mode, or is it a car with helicopter rudder on the back? You know, like something suffers there. Then you go to like, let's say, broadside. Great, great robot mode, great uh aircraft carrier mode. That plane mode looks like dog crap. It hurts to look at that plane mode. And then you look at, Sandstorm, robot mode, it's okay. And that big helicopter mode, okay, pretty passable. And then you look at that dune buggy mode and you're like, what is going on there? So it's like already those were all kind of fails. And then you look at the Decepticon side and uh you look something like, let's say, Blitzwing, and it's like, oh, great jet mode, great tank mode. The robot mode is just top heavy. He can barely hold himself up because the two rudders of the jet are his feet. So like his legs can't like really detach properly. So his robot mode suffers. Astro Train's the only one that kind of pulls it off, where it's like robot mode is passable, the shuttle mode is passable, and the train mode is passable because it kind of like shell forms with the wings. And Octane is the same thing. Plane mode is pretty good, robot mode's not bad, and that truck mode is a stretch with the chrome, you know. But fun, fun. They're always fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're bad toys. They're fun. I mean, they're all there, but they suffer in different areas. Tom Laney, you had a segment the other day about product that we didn't get or product Japan gets. Is importing to Japan happen as much as we import figures? Oh, 100%. If you went to BotCon back in the day, there was two guys, specifically Tomoya and Azusa, two Japanese guys that every single year would come to BotCon, and they would bring tons of stuff from Japan, but they would take tons of American stuff and bring it back. He-Man, Micronaut, anything that was like an exclusive. What was Tomoya? I remember took Micronaut stuff because at the time there was like a Micronauts like refresh line that was going on. I forget what the company was that did it. It was short lived. I think it was Resource did it. I don't remember. He got that. The new He-Man 2K3 stuff he was bringing back. What else was he bringing back? A whole bunch of weird stuff. There's a lot of Japanese guys that import all the time. You have to understand, like, think about the wrestling scene, right? There's a lot of Japanese people that love WWE wrestling, and they don't have a localized version of the Mattel action figures. So they have to import everything. And there's a lot of importing that goes on with that. A lot. And Transformers is the same, you know? There like trust me, there is more product that we get that they don't than the other way around. Yeah, we were just talking about Earthspark and they have like unique coloring for their Earthspark line, but do you know how many Earthspark products we have that they won't get at all? Do you know how many like Rise of the Beast products that they won't get at all? Do you know how many like classics-esque, generations-esque products that we get that they won't get at all? You know, I just talked about the Jazzes. They didn't get all those Amazon exclusives and all of that. So, where are we at here? Lizard Sphere X is talking to El Kevo. Roman says Octane wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but I've always felt like there's always one mode that suffers with triple changers. It's never been like perfect. It's never been perfect. Mikey and Louie, how about the motorized stuff? Skylinks, Tripticon, Omega Supreme, those are awesome. In the case of Omega and possibly Skylinks, we're still out on that one. Skylinks and Omega came from a Korean company that later was bought by a Japanese company called Toy Box. So those were kind of like the Diaclone Microman pre-Transformer stuff. Tripticon was a brand new tooling. That was something that was made from the ground up for Transformers for uh, Operation Combination. Excuse me, not Operation Combination. Scramble City. Tom Laney, aren't most toys made that side of the globe? How do they not? Well, Just because it's made there doesn't mean it's made there, you know? Stuff is made in Vietnam, stuff is designed in Japan, stuff is made in China. Doesn't mean it comes out there. It's just that that's where the factories and the brain trust is. That's all. Oh, it's Palisade. Okay, those are the guys that did the Muppets toys too. That's right. Thank you, Ninjatron. Yeah, because I remember it was one of those like weird, smaller toy companies from the early 2000s. Because I know that they did Rigoris. Yeah, it's true. They did the Speed Racer and Street Fighter stuff. Now that's right. This brain can only hold so much. Let me tell you. Lizard 3X 5 and Thrumium peg ports have been the best gimmick Hasbro could have done for the brand. Oh, totally. That really started in a lot of ways with Energon, because when Energon, all of a sudden everyone had to be able to hold the same Energon weapons. That was like the birth of the 5mm port. It was just like, okay, everyone's going to have the same fist hole. And then that carried over forever. And then it just kept going because it's just like, yeah, it just makes sense. Yeah, obviously like some of the movie toys didn't stay true to that. But like really like Energon, you could say what you want about Energon, but there was a lot of great stuff that started there with Energon. Energon, in my opinion, is where classics started in a lot of ways, really celebrating, classic characters with modern interpretations. You know, Energon doesn't get enough love. Yeah, the show was there's a whole behind the scenes mess with the Superlink cartoon and the show and not Galaxy Force and Energon but the toys did their job. They did their job. Mike and Louie, do you think we will ever get a Transformers miniature game like HeroClix, Warhammer, etc.? Well, we had a Tactics, which unfortunately didn't work out and got canceled before they started doing G1 characters. It's something if the market is there. Right now, this is public, so I could talk about it. Renegade, I helped with that one. Renegade Games is doing um, the Robo Rally Transformer Tabletop, which is a board game using miniatures of racing characters. You can see why I was brought in on this. Man, did I push to get Nitro Convoy in there, and that didn't happen. But that's a whole other conversation. Um, so there's that right now. Right now, the tabletop gaming stuff is mostly being done by Renegade Games. They still have the license for, I think, 2 more years. Unfortunately, I don't know of anything outside of that that I could talk about publicly. Let's put it that way. Joseph Ritter with the $5 super chat. If RC was a woman, what actress would she look like? P.S. Go Starscream. But, well, I mean, the easy answer, Joseph Ritter, is I will quote the legendary Fleur Deary. Legendary Fleur Deary, you look at his original drawing of RC and you read his notes. And RC was designed, and I'm quoting Fleur Deary, picture a naked Carrie Fisher. So take Carrie Fisher, young Carrie Fisher, 1976, I guess, when she was recording Star Wars. There you go. Naked Carrie Fisher. That is Fleur Deary's exact words, the man who designed and created RC. So I'm going to go with him because he probably gets the authority over all of us. Where are we at here? Renegade did a G.I. Joe miniatures game, still waiting for a Transformers one. Well, look, they have, they have like, here's all the Beacon of Hope, and I have all of these sealed here. All of their tabletop stuff here, their dice and everything. Because again, they send it all to me for free because I help them with the creative consulting, and little ideas here and there. And I mean, it's something that might happen. That's all I could say. Patrick Brown, do you collect graded cards? Best Pokemon card you own? I have two first edition Shadowless Charizards. Um, and I bought them because I liked Pokemon back then. I'll tell you how I got both of them afterwards. One of them was well, I'll get into that. Do I collect graded cards? Not really. The thing that sucks about graded cards as a Canadian is it's really hard to do it because you could send the cards to PSA, CGC, or anything. Same thing with comics. But the problem is that so let's say I send that like my two Charizards that I have, they're not graded. They're just in top loaders. Like I'll show you one day on like I have it's insane what I got. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, if I sent them to PSA and they get graded nines, eights, whatever, maybe 10, I doubt it'll be a 10, but nines or eights. When they send it back to Canada, they have to claim a value. Now, PSA on a graded 9, 8, first edition Shadowless Pokemon Charizard, they're going to put like 10K on there, $10,000. And then that's going to cross the border and I'm going to get hit with duty. And I wish I could show you Light Spheres. Maybe I could show you. I can't. It has his address on it. But if we get hit with duty on 10K, woo, Protoman's going to be spending like $2,000 to get his hands on his card back. So it's tough to grade. I've bought and graded stuff. Ironically, uh, I did a live stream once, like a secret live stream on a Tuesday, I think, where I showed people some of my graded comic books, but they weren't like rare comic books. Like here's Radioactive Man #1 graded. Here's what else did I have graded? Like Huntress #1, like stuff that isn't worth money. And I bought them ironically. It's like they were cheap. They were like graded $20, bought them off of eBay. I don't have many graded books. The only graded book that I have that I bought that's of any money is I have a graded Transformers #80 G1, and it's signed by Andrew Wildman, and I'm going to get it signed by Simon Furman at TFCon this year. So stay tuned for that. And it's going to be signed on the outside of the plastic. That way it doesn't affect the value of the comic because there's two different camps. Some people feel if you sign a comic book, it actually like if you took Amazing Fantasies #15, first appearance of Spider-Man, and you got Stan Lee to sign the front, the comic is actually worth less now because you actually damaged Amazing Fantasies #15. Autographs are usually worth money when it increases the value of something it's already. You autograph a piece of paper. If Stanley autographs a piece of paper, that piece of paper goes from being worth nothing to being worth the value of his autograph. So we saw that if you grade something, let's say you grade a comic or a card, we saw this through the legendary Black Lotus from Magic the Gathering. Someone graded an alpha Black Lotus from Magic the Gathering, and they got the artist, Christopher Rush, who has passed away since then, to sign the outside of the plastic, not the card, the outside. And people preferred that because you still have I guess we could call it the equity of the autograph because it's on the item. But if you don't like it, it's not on the card itself, so it doesn't damage the value of the card. So I have a Transformers 80 that's been CGC slabbed and graded, and I got Andrew Wildman to sign the outside of the plastic, and I'm going to get Simon to do the outside too. And that's the smart way to do it, in my opinion. And we see it through the card community that yeah, it's cool to get cards signed, but a lot of times if the card was worth money beforehand, you might have diminished the value. If you get, Christopher Rush, who did the Black Lotus, to sign, what else did he do in Magic? Because he did a lot of the valuable cards. Probably not a good example. Let's use David what's his name there? Foster, who did the Jester's Cap, Jester's Cap's like a $5 card. You get him to sign it, now it's worth money. It's worth more. But uh RC and Princess Leia 2-pack. One day, look, if you do Transformer crossovers again, I am surprised they didn't do a Princess Leia Transformer. I am so like during that entire time that we had the Star Wars crossover stuff, the fact that we didn't get one Princess Leia figure is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Have the Rebel Runner, which is like her ship that got captured at the beginning of the movie, have that transform into her. Little buns, everything. How did they not do that? I don't know. Aaron, I know you weren't part of that department, but geez, how did they not do that? Patrick Brown, I've been getting back into the 99 2001 Pokemon first edition since trying to PSA 9 all around. Oof. I have almost all of that, but again, I'll get back to how I got those. I was collecting that back then, like I had a friend named Joe who had 2 boxes of first edition. He cracked like booster boxes, cracked them all open, got a whole bunch of full sets. Years later, some people know this story. He became super religious and wanted to get rid of all worldly possessions and told his father to take care of it. His father's like, "What am I going to do with this?" He said, "Ask my friend Daniel, Proto Man. He knows more about this stuff than I do." And I was like, okay. And I helped him sell some stuff, but I bought some stuff, you know and I bought a chunk of those cards. I have 2 Charizards. The other Charizard I got from a friend. Literally, he cracked it out of a pack, and he wanted to buy a Gundam model kit. The Tall Geese 2 or 3? No, it was the 3 because it was Endless Waltz. Tall Geese 3 from Endless Waltz Gundam Wing. He wanted to buy a model kit for $30 Canadian. I gave him $30 for that Charizard. I put it in a top loader. Never played with it. It sat for years. The rest is history. One day, again, I have all the first edition Pokemon stuff from base set, Canadian base set, Shadowless, as they call it. I have the boxes, they're empty. I have the packs, they're empty. I have the theme decks and booster decks, they're empty. I have the little glass counters, the instruction manuals, the CDs, all of that crazy stuff. All of that. Because if you're a card collector during the Pokemon boom, insane. And I have two of them in my house. Two of them. Um, Actually, where's my phone? Where is my phone? Oh, one moment. One moment. Let me just see something. If I could show you guys some stuff. Do I have photos of it? No, I don't. If you go on my Instagram, eh? If you go on my Instagram, I took some photos of the Pokemon stuff back then. Nah, it doesn't have to be a retirement plan. I don't have to worry about retirement. I put the money aside quite smart. Proto, what is for dessert? That is a good question. Didn't buy any sweets. I would have liked to buy some sweets. What did we buy? We bought Kopiko, which is Korean coffee candies. My significant other is absolutely obsessed with those because she sees them in the Korean dramas she watches all the time. So we got those. So I guess those could be considered a dessert. I would have. You know what? I take it back. We stopped by A&W today. A&W is a Canadian fast food chain. I don't think they have them in the United States. We stopped at by A&W, had a root beer smoothie float because they had a new one we wanted to try. And honestly, it tasted just like a vanilla smoothie. It wasn't anything special. But we wanted to try it because it looked cool. So I technically had that today. Joseph Ritter with the $5 super chat. What's up, Joe? If you had to buy a major toy company stock and hold it for 10 years, which would you make the most of? So funny story, before I give you my answer, and then I'll give you my answer, and I've actually given this advice to people before, and I hope that this doesn't create people to run into stock. You do have A&W in the States? Okay, good. Because it's a Canadian chain. It was made in Winnipeg, so that's why I was like, do they have that there? Okay. Okay, you do have them. So they have they made a new one recently, so now at least so they made a root beer float, but it has like vanilla sweet cream in it or something. So we're like, oh, let's go try that. So, but to go back to Joseph's question, um, so I've had stock in Hasbro since 2003. I bought stock from Hasbro around the time of Energon and it was around the time of Energon and Armada, and I bought it as a joke. I was like, oh, I should own stock in the company because maybe, and this is how my brain works, because maybe one day I'll be able to give my opinions if I buy enough stock and this is before I would be able to actually get to know people and have influence in other ways. Let's put it that way. Um, but, I just bought it ironically. And then the stock exploded after 2007. And I still have that same stock. And I'm just kind of, I personally would not suggest Hasbro stock now if you would have to buy stock in a toy company. and this maybe you consider it a toy company, the best stock you could ever buy, in my opinion, because it just consistently goes up all the time. And I know everyone's going to go rush and buy it now after I say that. And stock people are going to be angry. Nintendo. Nintendo stock is just bulletproof. It just keeps going up. When the big V happened, it went up. When we had the recession of 2008, it went up. When the world goes bad, people play video games. When the world goes good, people play video games. Nintendo owns the patents for so many things that'll blow your mind. Do you know Nintendo owns the patent for the D-pad? Do you know that Sony, PlayStation, and Xbox has to pay Nintendo every time they make a controller? Do you know that? Do you know that PlayStation tried to make their D-pad separate pieces to try to get around the patent? And then Nintendo sued them because under the plastic covering is a D-pad? And so they still have to pay Nintendo to this day. And then Sony just left that way because that became their image. So, yeah, Nintendo, Nintendo, Nintendo. Everyone, see, everyone's saying it too. They are the safe. If you have to go with one company, like stocks are all about looking at the past and looking how they weather the storms. If you see a company that during and this is the look, we have two examples: 2008, 2009 recession, and during the big V, late 2020, 2021, 2022. Look how a company did during that time will give you an idea of what the future would be. Because if they weathered those, everything is good from there. And Nintendo killed it every time. Killed it. Killed it, killed it, killed it. And still they do amazing. It's just it always goes up. It always goes up. If it does go down, it just goes down for the sake of just going down. They did a Nintendo Direct, and for whatever reason, people didn't like that one Metroid game, and it goes down a little bit, but then it just goes back up after. And in my opinion, the worst time to buy the stock is just before they reveal a new console, because everyone goes into it. Aaron Archer, my Hasbro's cheapest stock was $7.34. Aaron, I think I bought 30 shares, and I think it was $1.27 or something like that. I remember it was like $1. I think it was $1.27 or $1.30. I wish I still had those old emails because I did it online with my bank and my stockbroker. And I bought it, and now I think they're worth $40 a share, which again, I'm not rich, not by any means, because I have 40 shares and I think they're like $40 today, and that might even go up or down. So it doesn't mean anything. Did I make a profit? Yeah, I did. Did I make a profit that I could retire on? Oh, hell no. That Charizard was much more of a profit. Um, always talk to your financial advisor. Do you know how easy it is to get in touch with your financial advisor? Do you want to know why? Because no one ever thinks about their money or talks about it. Again, going back to Lightspeed, uh, uh, financial advice. I know how to deal with money. You know what I mean? And a lot of look behind you. Does this look like a guy who's responsible with his money? Yes, because I didn't pay full price for any of this stuff. You know? Hell no. There was one time, Armada, Energon, maybe a little bit of the movie where I was buying everything full price, but not anymore. Where are we at here? Mikey Louie, we are sad that we still cannot see Aaron anymore. We can't fix that. Check in your settings when you're done today. I'm pretty sure you might have right clicked him or something. It's $60 now, Joseph. Okay, so there you go. It's hard. Again, I don't check it anymore. Like again, I bought it as a gag. And like again, look at what the stock was back in 2003. You'll see. You'll be like, "Wow, you bought it for nothing." Because it was nothing back then. It was so cheap, the stock back then in 2003. I think it was just coming off of, like, I think Hasbro had lost the DC license. Like they didn't have it anymore, and they had just gotten Toy Biz Marvel from from they got Marvel from Toy Biz, so they just started doing the Marvel Legends. I think they were just getting it or something, or no, that was maybe 2004. So like their stock was already kind of funky. So you'll see, like I got it for nothing back then. But again, when you think about it, right? So I got it for dollar something. If you factor in inflation back then, so maybe it's like $4 today a share. Yeah, okay, I made a little money, but nothing to like brag about. Nothing that you're retiring on. We should open the matrix of leadership and ask for financial advice. People on the Patreon are always welcome to message me and ask. That's what I'm there for. You know, if they have a question, if they're curious, you know, I'm not going to give stock advice because stocks could be risky, but I could direct you into places. I always say never invest money that if you lost it tomorrow, you wouldn't starve. You know what I mean? Like you should only invest money that if you lose it, like you should only invest money as if you're gambling it. Meaning if you lost it at the roulette table, you're still able to feed yourself and pay your bills tomorrow. You know, I'm not big in stock exchange stuff personally. There's never if it was cut and dry, easy profit, like easy big profit, then everyone would be doing it. I just give the Nintendo one because Nintendo's like a blue chip stock. It just always goes up. Doesn't go up crazy. It's not like you're going to put in $1,000 and then next year you're going to have like $8,000, but it always does go up. You know, you made your money with Ramhorn. Yeah, if you were flipping the old Titans Return one back in the day, people were going crazy for that thing. That was like a late wave one, eh? I remember that. I remember so many people asking me about that one. But yeah, always talk to your banks. You'd be surprised. A lot of people don't talk to their banks. One of my buddies, I'm not going to name him because he's kind of embarrassed with his financial situation, but he went into his bank for the first time and asked to talk about investing in GICs. And they were like shocked. They were like, wow, like you've been with us for like 40 years and that's the first time you're asking that. And it's like because they're so not used to it. They're used to people just getting their paycheck, putting money in it, and letting it sit. And if there's one thing we've learned, if you let money sit in your bank and you just let it sit there, and then inflation happens, if it was $10 before, it's worth about 8.50 now. So you always you have to invest in a way that it just kind of has an upward trajectory. So you race against inflation. So you could at least stay up with that, you know? We all invest in Hasbro stock already because we buy all their toys. Well, not really. I mean, in all honesty, most product, not all product, but most product probably holds value or goes down. You know, I'm pretty sure 99% of movie 2007 toys, like loose, are worth less than what you bought them for. Like Leader Optimus 2007 movie loose, you probably bought them. What was it, 39.99 for a leader class back in 2007? Imagine how things have changed. Yeah, if you get $40 today, be grateful, you know? Um, Lego isn't a publicly traded company. That's why they had a little fight with Walmart all those years ago. Lego is a family company. It's a whole other story. People invest with Lego by buying Lego. That's the only stock that you get with Lego is buying Lego and keeping it sealed. Now, is that going to make you money? I'm not going to stand and tell you no because I've seen some people make some crazy money, but that's a whole other story. There's a guy that got fired working at a Lego store because he kept buying the big sets using his discount and then sitting on them and selling them on eBay. And coworkers noticed that like he would always like buy three of everything. And like, why is he buying three? You know? And it was just like he was buying three and then he'd sit on it for 5 years, wait for it to retire, and then he would sell it. And he was there for like I think about 8 years with the company. And he was like selling like I think it was the Death Star and what was the other one? What was I think it was the Avengers helicarrier. It was another big crazy one that he sold. I remember it was a story they were talking about. And then like it got out there. Lego sealed, especially pre stuff. Yeah. It's all you have to keep it sealed. You can't loose bricks aren't worth anything. What's the What Transformers have gone up in value the most, like Minerva? Minerva didn't go up in value. If anything, now she's kind of softened a bit since there's been better versions. Unfortunately, Transformers, the stuff that goes up in value quickly goes down in value just as much. Something like Cosmos goes for like crazy money, and then when a reissue comes out, it'll go down. Look at Studio Series 86 Leader Class Grimlock, $200, $250, and then when a reissue comes out, it goes down. Transformers, it's like this. And when you look at the vintage stuff, yeah, okay, Grandis. Grandis probably people are asking $1,000 mint in box, but how many people are lining up to pay that? It's you like the success with Transformers comes from selling items that have way more people that are willing to pay for it. G1 Minerva, a mint in box one might be worth $2,000, but who is lining up to pay that? That's the problem, you know? That's the big problem. And that's coming from someone who owns one. So I'm going to belittle the value. I don't think G1 Minerva, like if I wanted to sell mine today, I'd have a hell of a time finding someone. I have an extra Road Caesar from Victory. Like it doesn't have all the pieces, but I have an extra Victory Road Caesar with the foam inserts from the box. I have been trying to sell that thing for $300 forever. Canadian. No one cares. No one cares. And that's the problem. Old G1, the market is shrinking. I've brought it to so many TF cons and shows, nobody cares. Uh, G1 Minerva events. So what old stuff has gone up the most in value over the decades? Not much. I mean, if you have sealed G1, it's valuable, but who's paying it? Guys are grading sealed G1 products, but it's such a small portion. Uh, Jack Ma, the creator of Alibaba, said it the best. He said, "You'll make more money selling 1,000 plastic spoons to 1,000 people than trying to sell one expensive watch for $1,000. You know, you're more likely to sell those spoons at $1 a piece to 1,000 people." And so it's the same thing to have those big expensive items, but then you have to try to find that one person, and then you're invested in that item, and God forbid it goes down in value. Where if you're invested in 1,000 spoons, they're not going to go down in crazy value. It's $1 a spoon. What, it goes down to 97 cents, like, it is what it is. Um, but I just, you know, masterpieces, they go up and down in value. They all do. The toys are a tough one. They're a tough one. Toys are like stocks. They really are. You got to find the right opportunity when they have value and cash in then and then cash out. And much like stocks, sometimes you can't predict it. It's very tough. Do you know how many times people ask me, "Hey, should I buy this multi-pack? Do you think this is going to be worth money?" And I go, "Yes, it will be worth money in the first couple of weeks that it's not available to everybody and it's in demand. But then something's going to come around that's going to replace stuff in that multi-pack, and then it won't be worth anything." The journey of movie Bumblebee. Let's do this together. Oh my God, deluxe class 2008 Camaro, 2007 movie Bumblebee. People were killing each other for that. For that first movie, new Camaro Bumblebee from 2007's based off of the 2008 new Camaro design. People were killing each other. Oh my God, they did the premium version. Premium version with the battle mask and the better paint. Now they want that one. Oh my God, the Battle Blades Bumblebee from the premium Revenge of the Fallen, preview release. It's the best Bumblebee. Got to get that one. It has the more screen accurate face. Oh my God, Human Alliance Bumblebee. It's super screen accurate. It's like an alternator Bumblebee. It's the best movie Bumblebee. Now these ones aren't worth anything anymore. And then I could go on and on. There's the Voyager class from Dark of the Moon. Then, of course, you get to the masterpiece. And then the Ultimate Bumblebee. Remember Ultimate Bumblebee that talks to you? Remember the leader class one? The big one? All of these go up and down. Ultimate Bumblebee was a $100 item. Now you could get it 100% complete off of eBay, probably for like $50, $40. Everything goes like this. Um, Tom Laney, I have my plastic crack addiction for my enjoyment, not for an investment. Yeah, buy it because you love it. Buy it because you want to go on an adventure with Mighty Max and Skull Dungeon. You know, buy it because you like Bionicles and you want to flick something. Buy it because you like Roboto and you want to talk to him every day. Buy it because you like. Let me pick. See, I don't have any other miscellanea here. I don't have much else, but everything else is the other. But like, buy it because you love it. You know, buy it because you love it. That's it. I don't buy King Arthur and the Knights of Justice toys because I'm investing on it because that movie is going to be coming one day. No, I'm buying because I love it. You know, Kevin PH with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Kevin PH, for the super chat and all the love and support. Again, thank you all the super chats, by the way, people. It's always appreciated. Can we get a leader one in Psykill with Earthrise Starscream? See, again, I would love to get that. See, like a Crash Bar, maybe e-hobby style colors. Skip the others, and you also skipped my other super chat. Oh, you had another super chat. I am so sorry. I'll get to that one too. Okay, I'll get to that one also. Um, sorry, it's because so many things pop up. The thing is with like, I have been requesting like crazy when we were doing fun publication stuff. Sakamoto-san, Hydra, me, always with these Gobot ideas. And it's scary because Bandai's always looking. And Plex, which works with them, are always looking. And you can't, you got to be Icarus. You can't fly too close to the sun because your wings are going to burn. And it's like, yeah, you could do a gray jet. You could do a great jet, but now you're going to put those goggles and the yellow teeth, and then it's like, oh boy, you're getting a little too close to Jet Robo MR25. Yeah, I think it was MR25 for Machine Robo, aka Leader One. The easy one I always say is Phytor. Phytor from GoBots. It's just thrust. I mean, it's so easy to do, but you don't want to fly too close to the sun, call it Phytor, and then make a suggestion. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. They will suit like their Bandai and Hasbro until Bandai of America really died. Bandai and Hasbro were rivals like crazy. Mattel was just kind of on the side. It was Bandai that was kind of like their shelving rival that's making product that's similar, that's trying to get the same eyeballs. You know, Power Rangers are giant robots that combine, you know, so that transform too with an action figure element. So they were battling for that in the toy aisle. And then you had like Machine Robo Rescue that was coming. And then Hasbro's like, ooh, we got to cock block that. And they did that with Universe. Go pick up your carded Universe, Ratchet, or Inferno Deluxe class. Universe 1.0, which you could barely see them over there. There's the two of them. It says Machine Robot Rescue on the bottom, trademark. Sorry, Bandai. You know, uh, why they get away with Crasher, I wonder, and not worry about her. It's not that they got away with Crasher. It's that she didn't get a brand new head sculpt. It's they used the old Mirage toy accurate face. They didn't give her a brand new head sculpt. And, you know, that's a Formula One color. Crasher is not a Formula One car. That's the first thing. Crasher is a Porsche GT vehicle that's used during Le Mans. It's not Formula One, so they're able to get away with it. But the problem is, Leader One is a jet, and so is Starscream. This is a Formula One open wheeler vehicle. To normal people, I get it. They're all race cars, but to the semantics, that's not the case. And these colors, by the way, are part of the Gobot character. Ugh. Let's get the book. Let's get the book. Where they're going to get sued is based on colors. Crasher is right here. See? It's this what they're worried about. Porsche Robo. MR for those that are keeping track. MR20. Actually, let me double check. Is MR25 Jet Robo? See, this is Proto Man. This is Proto Man. Jet Robo MR25. I'm a psycho. Psycho. He's a sick man. And he's a sick man that's 15 minutes over. You guys got lucky. You guys got lucky. But I'm going to answer that last super chat by Kevin PH because I missed it. And I owe it to Kevin. Cable JN is leaving and Bay. Okay, Cable is leaving and Bay is returning. I have mixed feelings about this. What are your thoughts? Nothing is confirmed about Michael Bay coming back yet. But I will say this. If Michael Bay is coming back, and I've said this forever, if Michael Bay is good at doing one thing, it's military. This is G.I. Joe. This is what he should have been doing from the beginning. He should have been doing the G.I. Joe movies from the beginning. So if there's one person that knows how to do military movies, it's Mr. Bay. Now, is it going to be a good movie? Is it going to feature Transformer characterization and character development and a deep story with Michael Bay? Probably not. But if you like military, it's where it's at, yo. It's where it's at. So that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. You know, but we'll see. It's nothing is confirmed yet that Michael Bay is there, but nothing is confirmed. Don't people are going to start freaking out. But it's something where you know, it's something where like we'll see. We'll see. We got another super chat. I guess you guys are throwing it at me. You don't want me to leave. Snell Worlds with the $5 super chat. Why does Human Alliance and Skids and Agent Simmons so expensive? Because it's, what did I tell you? Best version of the character. What is the best Skids figure that exists? It's the Human Alliance ones. Skids and Mudflap, the best versions of those characters are their Human Alliance versions. So all the money is funneled into that best version until a better one comes. And yes, one day we will get a studio series. I don't care what anyone says. There's all kinds of stupid rumors online. It's racism. It's this. They're going to do it one day. They will. And then those will be it. Those will be the best ones. But we will see. By the way, there's a full scan of this book as part of the Patreon people. If you're part of my Discord, I scanned this entire book. But yeah, we will see what happens. And that is it. We are done for the live stream today. Thank you, everyone. Guys got a little extra today, almost an extra 20 minutes. An extra 20 minutes. So thank you all for tuning in. Once again, if you want to support the podcast more, again, the super chat people like Snell over here, always help with the super chats. Thank you. But again, if you want to continue supporting the podcast, again, we have Patreon down below. Patreon gives you access to our Discord. It gives you access to me. It's the easiest way to contact me. And if you have to ask me any questions or anything, our Discord is filled with tons of crazy stuff. Lore downloads, scans of whole cool books and stuff like that you can have on reference. Full episode stuff. And the best part, saving money on your hobby because all the sales that we share and everything. Anyone who's part of the Discord knows what's up. They know what's up. If Patreon isn't your thing, again, the green names that you saw on the side today, all those beautiful green names, that's the YouTube membership. That's the other join button that's available down there. But the Patreon is in the description and the pinned comment below that will be played in the replays. Thank you all for the love and support. It was another amazing week of Transformers. Thank you for Lightspeed for sending me that beautiful item. It will go in the charity auction, which will be a small percentage towards a terminally ill child getting a present or a dream for their Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is what we do every year. If you want more information on that with TFCon, I believe Cheers Ian's going to post a video soon about it. I hope so. Cheers Ian is rarely ever in the chat, so I'll have to ask him when he's doing that. But if you've seen the TFCon charity auctions, me and Cheers Ian doing that like crazy. So that'll be donated to that to help the sick kids. And that is it, more or less. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to the Hasbro people that came. Thank you to the Patreon people that came, the YouTube members that came, and all the other awesome peeps that popped in. Thank you for another lovely live stream. I am going to relax now, play some video games. And sadly, tomorrow I still have to go do yard work. The pain of home ownership. Sometimes it's not as good as you think it is. But until then, I'll talk to y'all later. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the near future. Roll out.